Top 20 Wells Fargo interview questions and answers. Wells Fargo is one of the biggest financial services companies in the whole world, with a staggering amount of assets. You should therefore be ready for a thorough interview if you intend to score a position. This video will look at some of the common questions that you should expect when interviewing for a position at Wells Fargo. 1. Why do you want to work here? This is usually one of the first questions in Wells Fargo interviews. It's an opening question which intends to reveal your motives. We advise that you focus on the company's vision, working environment, culture, or portfolio. Talk about anything that makes the institution better than its competitors. Sample answer: I believe that I will fit into your working environment, given that I have met all the requirements. I have also been your client for some time and therefore understand quite a bit about your processes. Your comprehensive portfolio of products and services is also an added factor. 2. How did you hear about this job? Well, this is a pretty straightforward question. How did you know of the particular job position? Your interviewer will want to know if this is just any other job vacancy that you applied for or if you really intended to work for them. Be clear and convince the interviewer that this is indeed a special interview. Sample answer: a friend who works for Wells Fargo in Texas recommended this job to me. She has always praised how good you are and even convinced me that I would love to work here. I, therefore, decided to apply when I realized that I met all the requirements. 3. Care to mention about your availability? This can be pretty tough to answer since you do not want to come off as someone desperate for a job or look like one who is not sure of working for Wells Fargo. We advise that you set your availability at first of the next month. However, also ensure that you give good reasons if you cannot start soon. Sample answer: I am free to start as fast as possible, given that I have always wanted to work for Wells Fargo. I have also cleared from my former workplace, which makes me quite flexible regarding start time. You can also say that you may need a few days to clear a project that you are working on. 4. How far are you willing to travel? The interviewer wants to know just how flexible you are. Remember, the more the options, the better your chances of actually landing a job. However, make sure that you include the most preferred location in your answer to be given priority if there is a vacancy in the particular place. Avoid giving reasons unless asked. Sample answer: given that I have a car, I do not mind working anywhere in Texas and its environs. Also, this is a great opportunity for me that will help me grow in my profession. I am therefore ready to relocate if there is no available option nearby. 5. Why did you choose this position? You must have realized that this is a common question in interviews if you have been reading our articles. You should assure the interviewer of your motivation for the given job since it is an area banks struggle with. Tell them that you enjoy the particular job and have the right skills and experiences. Sample answer: I have the right personality and experience for this job. I also believe that I will enjoy working here, given my great motivation. I have been a teller before and wouldn't mind applying whatever I have learned in other institutions in my job. You can also say that you qualify for this role more than any other and have actually done it in the past. 6. What do you know about us? What do you know about Wells Fargo? Luckily, there are several approaches you can take when answering this question. Mention any factual information about Wells Fargo to convince the interviewer that you are interested in this banking institution. You can talk about the founders, their services, assets, or even the CEO. Sample answer: Wells Fargo was started in 1852 by Henry Wells and William Fargo with its first bank in San Francisco. It offers an array of services, including banking, insurance, investments, mortgage, and consumer as well as commercial, financial services. The bank boasts of 70 million customers in different locations. 7. Why should we hire you? You should read the job description and identify the skills that the interviewer is interested in if you intend to answer this question well. Reassure the interviewer that you have all it takes to succeed in the given job. Sample answer: I have the right expertise and attributes for this particular job. I can easily navigate several complex computer systems and applications as well as meet and exceed performance objectives. I also have several qualities that I believe will come in handy: good communication skills, experience working in fast-paced environments, focus on customer service, and extensive cash handling experience. 8. Describe your ideal working environment. Even though this question can be asked in different interviews, it is imperative in the banking industry. Ensure that your description is as close as possible to what you stand to experience at Wells Fargo. You can also say that you do not have lots of expectations. Sample answer: I generally expect a supportive workforce that won't mind giving a hand where necessary. I enjoy a challenging environment and expect to grow and be better at this job. Or you can say that you only expect a lot from one person, only you. You can then go ahead and mention some of the things you intend to do to better the workplace and rally on the support of your fellow employees. 9. Mention a conflict that you had with a fellow colleague. This is a behavioral question that will help the interviewer understand your attitude towards work. Every position in Wells Fargo demands that you work with others, meaning that you will experience a few conflicts along the way. Convince the interviewer that you are always attentive to other employees' needs and feelings and show that you are willing to admit whenever you are wrong. Mention a conflict that you resolved constructively. Sample answer: I once disagreed with a colleague on how to handle some work we had been given. He preferred piling work and then doing them once, whereas I wanted us to work on them as they came. I asked him his reasons and also explained mine to him. I managed to convince him, and we did it my way. 10. Do you know how to deal with rejection or harsh words? You should keep in mind that most jobs offered by Wells Fargo are sales or customer service jobs that expose you to lots of criticism. You will come across many complaints than praises. Most people will also hang up on you or shut you down before you deliver a sales pitch. Therefore, convince the interviewer you understand that this is part of the job and can deal well with it. Sample answer: I have been in customer service for quite some time and therefore understand everything that comes with the job. I do not usually let myself get emotionally affected by harsh words. I know that the customer's anger or rejection has nothing to do with me. I can, therefore, get over such situations and keep trying. 11. How do you imagine a typical day in this job? This is a common interview question whose answer is dependent on the particular position. Make sure that you show a proactive approach to your work depending on what your job entails. Also, make sure that you read the job description well and go a step ahead to check out employee reviews. Do not include irrelevant activities such as coffee or lunch breaks. Sample answer: I envision a busy day. I will get to the job early, plan out my day, go through emails and answer the most urgent ones before driving right into my daily activities. Go ahead and mention the mandates vested on you by your position. You can choose to mention them chronologically or in no particular order. 12. What would you do if you caught any of your colleagues stealing? The interviewer wants to know if you are a person of high integrity. Are you willing to turn in an employee you caught stealing, or will you cover it up and split the share? Remember, no business wants to run at a loss, including an entity as large as Wells Fargo. Therefore, do not think that a minor theft will not be recognized just because this is a big institution. Convince the interviewer that you are willing to follow all the institution's rules and policies regarding the matter. Sample answer: I am a person of high integrity. I do not condone any theft or misappropriation in the workplace. Therefore, if I catch another employee stealing, I will stop them and report the matter to the manager or the right person. Stealing from the workplace also puts us at risk, especially if the person causes a discrepancy in the accounts we manage. I cannot, therefore, let him off the hook. 13. Do you use any of our products or services? Are you a Wells Fargo customer? You should not lie since the bank can easily confirm. You do not want to come off as a dishonest person even before you get the job. Mention some of the institution's products or services that you use. You should also point out that you do not use any at the moment but wouldn't mind once you get the job and interact with their products or services. Sample answer: I own a small business which uses your services. I usually bank any proceeds with you and have even taken a loan a few times. I also used your mortgage services to buy my first house. It has been a good ride so far. 14. Have you ever had a motivation crisis? How do you normally cope with such? Most of Wells Fargo's jobs are repetitive. You can, therefore, possibly get bored and experience a motivation crisis. You should accept that you occasionally struggle with motivation since it is pretty common and normal. What matters is how you get out of such situations and back to your feet. Remember, it is not difficult to manage such crises if you know what to do. Sample answer. I have experienced such situations before, same as everybody else. However, I usually look at my personal goals and loved ones and realize that I have to work hard and keep pushing. I also remind myself that my colleagues and employers expect a lot from me, which gives me a reason to keep going. 15. Mention a time that you failed in this job and what you learned. Failure is inevitable in our lives. However, such experiences do not make you less of a person. We all learn from our mistakes, lessons which help us be better at whatever we do. This is a chance to mention when things did not turn out well, and you did not achieve what you wanted. Your primary focus should be on the lesson. Sample answer. I have failed a number of times as an accountant. However, I usually take great precautions to prevent such occurrences. I once reported to work feeling unwell, believing that it was a simple cold that would pass. I ended up making a mistake in entries that saw my salary deducted by half to cater to the deficit. This experience taught me to always prioritize my health and peace of mental health. 16. What is your biggest strength in relation to this job? This is another common interview question asked by interviewers to know if you understand and have what it takes for this job. Look at the job description and try to match some of your abilities to the skills required. You know yourself better than anyone and should therefore be in a better position to answer this question. Sample answer. I am always attentive to details, which is a quality needed in every accountant. I can remember the littlest details, such as the color of someone's ring or the stripes in his shirt. I can therefore pick out errors quickly, avoid them too. 17. What do you imagine when you hear Wells Fargo? This is a direct question that should not be hard to answer. Do not think too hard and come off as ingenuine, but instead mention whatever comes to mind, just like the question demands. What comes to mind when you hear the name Wells Fargo? Sample answer. I imagine a multinational banking institution that serves the high and the mighty and competes with the likes of JP Morgan. Remember, you should also try to praise the company. Nobody hates a little praise. 18. Mention a weakness that you have. Can you mention any of your shortcomings? Nobody will judge you for having a weakness, given that we are all humans. However, do not mention anything related to the job at hand that may harm your chances of getting the particular position. Sample answer. I am an overthinker, a weakness that I have struggled with for quite some time. I tend to create scenarios in my head and overthink them. I would even have panic attacks before I started therapy. However, I am constantly working on it, thanks to my therapist. 19. Mention a difficult goal that you met. Your manager at Wells Fargo will most probably set goals for you. These come in different forms and may include the number of calls you will be expected to make in a week, the number of loans to be approved, or the expected number of credit cards to be sold. This question will reveal your attitude towards goals. Therefore, make sure you answer it right. Sample answer. I enjoy setting goals since they help me progress and stay motivated. I created daily and weekly goals, which my team members helped me achieve. The most challenging goal I have ever met was achieving 150% of the sales target with the help of my colleagues. 20. How long do you plan to stay at Wells Fargo? Nobody wants an employee who will leave when things get tough, since the hiring process is normally too costly. You should therefore convince the interviewer that you intend to stay if given a chance. Sample answer. I have always wanted to work for Wells Fargo. It will be a dream come true if I get this chance. I, therefore, intend to stay as long as possible and do my job well to ensure my longevity.